This is actually a piece of song that ended 2020, but it's a welcoming 2021 piece of music. I like Mr. Dew, certainly like Medica. Hello, good morning. This is the AM show, and you're welcome to the review segment of our show.
My favorite part of the song, he said that first no more friend Kwajunto, after more friend
Yeah, man. Big ups, Medical. I like him, really like him. Okay. Akable, how are you?
I'm Joseph Akable.
How are you? You know, I have to like pause and think about it because I've got the two Josephs. It's actually a blessing to have two Josephs with me every morning.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
One is very good in mathematics. The other is expected to be good in mathematics, but he's not, unfortunately.
Aboko Gakpo.
For a research reactor.
Oh, did he just go to Britain or something? Because your voice kind of changed.
I'm saying that I don't do kids-focused, playful kind of mathematics.
Oh.
My kind of mathematics is aimed at dealing with national problems and solving economic difficulties. So unless it's focused on that, you won't get me.
Oh my God. Shall we have one of such questions?
You see, those maths and science quiz questions, they don't solve national problems. It's all for the educational value of it.
Yes, sir.
So
we hear you.
Don't be going there.
For 2 days.
Ask me.
For 2 days, the leadership of Parliament has been trying to solve a problem.
A simple mathematical problem.
Can you use a mathematical? Can we solve it with your mathematical means, please? It's a national issue, apparently.
That problem is a political problem. It's not a mathematical problem.
So your math can't solve a political problem, apparently.
No, it solves mathematical problems. If the economy is struggling and Kenoforiata or anyone cannot deal with it, come to me for ideas and analysis. Otherwise, maths and science quiz questions, it's not going anywhere. You know,
I've been lobbying to be your deputy in Parliament, but I don't think that I can do the job, so I give up. I'll let Aisha take it. Listen, guys,
no problem.
Let's start with the Ghana Health Service website. Let's check out our COVID-19 active cases because we're still pretty much taking it for granted largely, but the cases we keep seeing are going up. And you see in the figures that we will be showing you on the screens pretty shortly, our active cases, I guess before now, we've always been saying, is lower than 1,000. And if you monitor the president's address on COVID-19, the updates that he's been giving us I guess, for a very long time, it's coming down. It's still lower than 1,000. But I guess in the last 3 days, we've gone up, really shot up, and now we're standing at 1,404 active cases, and the deaths, 341. Listen, what am I saying? Short story, COVID is real. I have heard some very personal stories. It's now coming really home to most of us. There are people who have passed on. Just 2 days ago, a 30-year-old, and this is a friend's daughter. It's really coming home. There are people who are reporting various cases to us individually. So you have to take this seriously. You must take it serious. With that said, guys, let's do the newspapers. I mean, it's same reports. People are not wearing the mask. People are not. If you go to the market, they say that virus. Now that we're still alive, we don't see the need. What you're saying doesn't make sense.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service yesterday, and he said we are now averagely recording about 180 cases, and our hospitals are getting full now. And so we are back to the situation where people are actually sick and need attention. And so he was advising that we pay attention. I think that's the best advice we can give to everyone.
Absolutely.
Well, it's good to see the two of you wearing masks. I think part of the problem is that leadership from the political level to the media level, particularly the political level, all the campaigning they did hugging themselves as if nothing matters and all. It's part of what we're facing today because we are not showing the example for the everyday people to follow, which is why I think we are where we are today. So it's good to see the two of you in mass. Let's all try to lead by example. All other things may be called. I'm in my house all by myself. That's how come I'm not in mask. Otherwise, I would have been wearing one.
Yeah, absolutely. We understand. There's a statement that the 37 military hospital issued. Since we're talking about hospitals, let me bring this to your attention. If you're carrying a sick person and your plan is to take them to the 37 military hospital and it's an emergency case, you might want to think twice about it. The statement that the issue says that they're going to close down the medical and emergency unit to the general public from today, Thursday, 14th of January, to Thursday, 4th of February. So that's a whole week in order to conduct a fumigation exercise. The closure has become necessary to enable the authorities undertake fumigation as a remedy to any infestation of the units. It is worth mentioning, according to the statement, that measures have been put in place to ensure patients already on admission are not negatively affected. However, the general public is advised to redirect all medical and emergency cases to other health facilities during the period. This is for the guidance and information of the general public, and they say any inconvenience that the closure would cause is deeply regretted. So effective today, if you have any emergency case, please do not go to the 37 military hospital. It is closed. Sometimes, if you get the right information early, you could save a life. So instead of driving all the way to 37 for them to tell you that they are closed, I hope that you can pass the information on now that I have shared it so we can save lives. All right, guys, let's dig into the newspapers. Opoku Gakpo, I see you've got the Daily Statesman and the Daily Guide. Joseph, you have the Daily Graphic. Do you want to start?
Yes, I'll start with the front page of the Daily Graphic. This morning it has a photograph of Chief Justice Kwesi Eni-Nyabua and a photograph of the Supreme Court building. Election petition is the headline. Supreme Court determines Mahama's motion today. There's enough food for students, according to the National Food Buffer Stock, until begins nationwide strike. And the other story here says SIGA clarifies the solution of boards, that is the State Interest and Governance Authority. The back page has the story about road accidents in Central Region claimed 242 lives last year. It's on the back page of the Daily Graphic.
Okay. Let me just come in with the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and Joseph Opoku Gakpo will give us a bit of background to this. Since it's a political issue, he hasn't obviously been able to resolve it. Who is who in Parliament? Deadlock as meeting to determine majority-minority in Parliament ends inconclusive. Opoku Gakpo, because you're with us, tell us what happened day two.
Day two, the meeting lasted for about 45 minutes, not as long as the day before. The claim in the end was that one of the main reasons the resolution hadn't come was because Andrew Makwesiama, the second deputy speaker and MP for Fomena, who was expected to communicate officially to Parliament his decision to sit with the NPP side, hadn't done that. And so that's what everyone was waiting for. But later in the evening, we all saw the story make rounds that Mr. Siama had actually gone ahead and written that particular letter to the Speaker, Alban Bagbin. Just to quote a bit of that particular letter to you in a while, I think I have it here. Well, I'm struggling to pull it up, but essentially,
we'll put it on the screen.
Sure.
But go ahead and do the summary.
In that one-page letter, he makes the point that when it comes to doing business in Parliament, he will side with the NPP caucus. So he's not moving on from being an independent MP to an NPP MP, but the expectation is that in Parliament on a regular day, you have to be part of either caucus 1 or caucus 2, either a majority caucus or a minority caucus, so that then when it comes to welfare issues and all of that, it's routed through that particular caucus. So looks like that was the outstanding issue, and we're expecting that later today, that meeting would be reconvened by Speaker Alban Bagbin, and they would bring an eventual resolution. But additionally, this morning, the minority, well, I keep saying minority, but you can understand that that's what we've been used to for a while. But the minority leader in the 7th Parliament, who is the leader of the NDC caucus in the 8th Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, will be addressing the media around 11 a.m. to deal with all these issues that have come up. And then we would hope to subsequently hear from the leader of the NPP side as well.
Okay. All right. Let me finish what's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. 3.9 million Ghana cards remain uncollected. Tewu declares nationwide industrial strike. late Preston Rawlings to be laid to rest at Military Cemetery, Burma Camp. In the center spread essentially details of that, the front page stories. They also carry the story of the 37 medical emergency unit closing down until February 4. Page 3, some crime-related stories. Soldier in court for defiling 14-year-old girl. It's a 30-year-old soldier. He's appeared before an Accra Circuit Court for allegedly having sex multiple times with a 14-year-old girl at Burma Camp, Accra. Corporal Ofei Richard Otsiri, charged with defilement, has pleaded not guilty, and the courts presided by Adelaide Abui Kade remanded accused into military custody to reappear on January 27. They've got the details of how he got here in the paper. Ofosuampofu Kweku Boahin trial adjourned to February 2. The Accra Commercial High Court has adjourned the trial of Samuel Ofosuampofu, NDC National Chairman, and Anthony Kweku Boahin, Deputy National Communications Officer of the party, to February 2, 2021. This follows a request by Mrs. MFA Hatcastle, who held brief for Mr. Tony Litha, the lead counsel for the NDC National Chairman, Mr. Ampofu, with the excuse that Mr. Litha was bereaved. And then taxi driver shot dead. A taxi driver identified as Culture was on Tuesday shot dead at Charlie, you have to. It's a place in Dunkwa, Ofing. Apologies. You have to help me with the pronunciation of the name. How do you?
Let me just look at it. Unfortunately, I'm from
Ekwe.
I'm from Ekwe in the Western region. So.
Okay, I think Emwetia Krom.
Yeah.
Probably do for me.
Yeah, it looks better that way and sounds better that way than what you said earlier.
What did I say?
You said something. It's not what was written there. It starts with MM anyway.
So this is a place in Dunkwa Ofing in the Upper Dintra East Municipality of the Central Region.
Motia Krom sounds like a dwarf's town.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. All right, on the back page, 400 master craftspersons undergo training. Kologo People Climax Yesiga Festival. 2 stories on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Oboko Gakpo, you've got the Daily Statesman and the Daily Guide. Shall we go through the Daily Guide?
So the Daily Guide on the front page, Mahama versus Nana at Supreme Court today. That's the banner headline, and it comes with the photographs of John Dramani Mahama, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Chief Justice Enini Yeboah in the middle of the two. And this is a story we are all very much aware of, that the Supreme Court will today begin hearing a petition filed by the presidential candidate of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, challenging the results of the 2020 presidential election. There are other headlines on the front page of the Daily Guide. NPP escapes death, and that's in reference to the NPP Alex Jomubua Tete, who was driving to his constituency about 2 days ago, and his vehicle was involved in an accident. We gather that he's doing fine and he's recovering. Of course, we wish him a very, very speedy recovery, because the next few days in Parliament will be exciting, and we look forward to seeing him join in those discussions. Those are not the only headlines. There is another one with the picture of Akosia Frema Oseo Pare, who is the Chief of Staff, and it says Jinapo eulogizes Frema. So Samuel Abu Jinapo, the MP for Damongo, has been praising the Chief of Staff, and that's captured on the front page of the Daily Guide. And then there's another story about the Food and Drugs Authority cautioning against unapproved COVID-19 vaccines. That's all on the front page of the Daily Guide. In the center pages, there are some sports stories, blows over Partey Cash. And the story is that the manager of the team, that helped groom this young man who has become an international star, currently has gone missing for some days now in Ashaiman, following issues having to do with some cash coming in. Not just that, in the center spread of the Daily Guide, there's a very interesting COVID-19 related story that we should talk about. You know the artist Celestine Donko? Mm-hmm. Well, she's been disclosing that she got infected with COVID-19 at a point in time, and she really struggled in the course of having to deal with that. And in an interview with Hits FM, she's been advising that the public should be very much cautious of that particular disease. Not just her, The others talking about the COVID-19 situation as well. Only fools say COVID-19 is a scam, and that's according to another gentleman who has been quoted here, Alhaji False. He's been drawing attention to that and the need for all to pay attention to COVID-19. An interesting story also on the center spread: maize shortage hits Ghana, and the story talks about how Ghana is expected to, see a fall when it comes to the amount of maize we produce in the country. And in fact, the issue having to do with the shortage of maize is something that's been pending for a few months now. For about 2 months now, we've had shortage of maize in some parts of the country, raising questions about whether the planting for food and jobs, which actually has maize as one of the major crop areas, is actually succeeding. We know the president has been praising the minister over the last few days, and the indication is that Dr. Akoto Uswefiye will be retained as Minister for Agri. Well, some of these issues are things that should be dealt with going forward. Let me move on quickly to the Daily Statesman as well. A number of stories on the front page. Rulings to be buried at military cemetery. That's on page 2 of the Daily Statesman newspaper. The other story here has to do with the Supreme Court beginning the election petition hearing today, and it comes with the photograph of the Chief Justice Enine Boa. And then the big story: NDC NPP majority fight to be settled before Parliament resumes sitting tomorrow. So that's tomorrow, Friday. And the indication is that this has to be settled before tomorrow. And it comes with the photographs of Osaichi Mensah Bonsu and Haruna Idrisu. That's accurate. I've also been speaking to Alexander Penyomakens, who is the deputy leader on the NPP side, and Ibrahim Ahmed, who is the deputy whip on the NDC side. And they are all confident that one way or the other, the issues will be settled today before the House resumes sitting tomorrow, particularly after the former MP Andra Mokosiama gave the indication that he is going to be doing business with the NPP side. We wait to see what will happen in that meeting later today and then bring it all to our listeners.
Does it mean that if we don't resolve the issue of who is majority minority, we can't do parliamentary business?
We can't do parliamentary business, except that chances are that it could be chaotic to a certain extent, because then people occupy seats that the other side would insist they rather are supposed to occupy, and people will take off their names in terms of the banner and all, and that will then create a problem. But yes, in fact, when it comes to the introduction of business in the House, it has to be done by the leader of the House. And the leader of the House is usually the leader of the majority side. So unless we settle that, we don't know who should convene what we call a business committee meeting to then decide on the business that the House should deal with, and who should come and present a business statement outlining what the House should be dealing with before the House begins dealing with those issues. So yes, unless we know who the majority leader is, parliamentary business will come to a halt to a certain extent. Okay,
and I guess also for the formation of the committees, the select committees and the as in committees of parliament, Joseph, because you would have usually on most of them, apart from a few, we can count maybe 2 or 3, which would have the minority side chairing those committees. Is always chaired by the majority side. So this is crucial.
Very much crucial. Yeah. And, there's supposed to be a selection committee that's supposed to determine which MP will sit on which committee. And that selection committee needs to have the speaker as chair and the leaders on both sides on the committee. Until we resolve those issues, even the work of the selection committee, which will then come up with those recommendations, including who should sit on the appointment committee before Parliament can begin vetting the president's ministerial nominees, all that will come to a halt.
But when it comes to the appointment committee, don't we already know who is going to be chairing? That would be the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. That's the traditional role, isn't it?
It's actually clear in the standing orders that the chair of the appointment committee has to be the first Deputy Speaker. But apart from that, it doesn't tell you who else should be on that committee. It still has to be the selection committee determining the other 24 members of that particular committee.
Okay. All right. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the Dispatch. The 6 kits. When I saw kits, I was thinking, would they allow us to call them kits? The 6 kits of politicians in our parliaments. Interesting. We've known this for a while. I think very early on in the race, you know, that was also highlighted. But now I realize that they're all daddies, and they. So there's the late Jerry John Rawlings with Dr. Zanato Rawlings, MP for Clotikole. There's Dakoa Newman, MP for Okainkwe, with her late father, Victor Newman. There's Farouk Mahama, that Aisha has interviewed. That conversation is coming up on Personality Profile tomorrow, Friday, God willing. So he's MP for Yendi, with his late father, former Vice President Aliu Mahama. And then there's the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma North, Sheila Battels, with her father, Mr. Kwame Battels, a former MP and minister. So that's the highlight. They've also have the Gazetted 2020 parliamentary results. Diligent Chief of Staff deserves second term in office. Abu Jinapo making a case for his former boss. Essentially on the back page, well, the full story of the pictures that we've seen on the front page with the kids, the children of politicians. There's also Elizabeth Ofuswa-Jare, whose father is Ni Ajay Mensah. There's a picture, but their picture is actually on the back page of the paper. If you find it intriguing, you can grab it and check it out. That's it for the Daily Dispatch. You have another paper, Akable?
No, that's it for me.
Have we done the Business and Financial Times? I don't think so.
Okay, so the Business and Financial Times.
Yes, sir.
NIB retracing its steps to focus on industry financing and the President's Herculean task. Details on page 3. Yoko GIPC begin major investigation into unlicensed investment firms. And 2020 record-setting year for equity and debt markets, also on the front page of the Business and Financial Times. The back page has children born today will be only 45% productive by 18th birthday.
Hey.
I see.
That's a long piece. I would love to read it. It's
Said
a World Bank research.
So let me see what I can just do a paragraph. A child born in Ghana today will grow up to be an adult who is only 45% as productive as he or she would have been under a benchmark of complete education and full health, according to the World Bank's Human Capital Index updates. Okay, so the HCI is an international metric that benchmarks key components of human capital across countries, measures the human capital that a child born today can expect to attain by his or her 18th birthday. And so details of that story on the back page of the BNFT, quite interesting there. So Ghana scored 44% in 2018 when the HCI was first launched as part of the Human Capital Project. And it goes on to give details about how it highlights current health and education outcomes and how they shape productivity of the next generation of workers. So it means that it's assessing the systems that the nation has in place and how it can help an individual to be productive. And they are saying that as it stands, you'll only be 45% productive if you are born today by your 18th birthday.
But that's also if you're relying on the system, the system that the state has put in place.
Yeah.
But as
So
we
if you
know,
escape to some other country, you'll be using their system, their metric, which may be higher than our metric. So.
Okay. Well, all right. One of the children that I missed in the Daily Dispatch is the MP for Adenta. So he's with. There's a picture of him and his father.
Quite a whole political.
Ahmed Ramadan and then Mohammed Adamu Ramadan. Yeah.
The father used to lead one of the leaders of the PNC.
Yeah.
And the brother used to be the general secretary, and the sister is the second lady.
Yes.
Yeah, the Ramadans.
Samira.
Quite an interesting political family. And the brother is the NDC MP.
Exactly.
It's an NDC MP for Adenta.
Yeah. It's good. I wish I had a family like that where, you know, if one person is in opposition, if there's a good if there's good relationship.
Yeah.
If there's good relationship. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do myjoyonline.com. We'll find the story of the judiciary interested in investigating this matter that the Aswasi Member of Parliament, Muttaka Mubarak, alleged on the probe last Sunday, where he says that there was a Supreme Court judge who tried to influence a Member of Parliament to vote for the former Speaker, Michael Quay. The judiciary has issued a statement, and I'm reading this from myjoyonline.com. We'll open the page in a short while. This is signed by Justice Cynthia Pamela Addo, the Judicial Secretary. Is that it? Okay. So in that statement, it says, they've noted with grave concern the remarks of Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, which have been widely published in the media, alleging that a justice of the Supreme Court attempted to bribe an NDC female member of parliament. The Chief Justice is taking steps to solicit the assistance of Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak to establish the facts in order that the matter can be dealt with appropriately. See that there are people, if you monitor comments on social media, people are saying this is a swift move, really, really important, especially because we have the election petition. It will be good to settle this matter so that people don't make the allegation, or there's not the perception that some of the Supreme Court judges are aligning to the NPP side. It would, perceptions, can...
I don't know whether the contact has been made already with Mr. Muntaka, but I think if that piece of information relating to who this individual is available to the Chief Justice, in empaneling the group to hear this particular petition, it will help matters if that individual is not a part of it. I do not know whether the contact was made, because by now the panel has been fixed already, and we'll get to know those on the panel this morning. And so I would have preferred that maybe if that information had gone earlier, or maybe if it has already gone, then that's good news, so that that individual is not part of this panel. That was in the course of investigation. If the MP decides to put out a name and you have the judge on the panel, and if at that stage they finish with the case or the case is still pending, it really makes matters quite worse for the image of the judiciary. The judiciary is an important institution that we all want to keep safe, we want to keep respected, we want to keep their integrity intact, because it's the place that when we have to fight, we go there and we fight in a civilized manner. Once we destroy their integrity, we make people know that when you go there, you're likely to get a decision that will go in favor of your party in power. We just shoot each other and kill each other.
Yeah, but most importantly, they must also give the people cause to trust them.
Exactly.
So, Poku Gakpo, have you heard anything from the camp of Muntaka Mubarak in terms of the judiciary getting in touch with him on this investigation?
That specific confirmation I don't have yet, but he's made it clear that he'll be ready and willing to cooperate with any probe that the Chief Justice will institute, and that he has all his available evidence that he will let them have once the committee begins sitting.
Do we know this female MP who was being bribed? This female MP is on the MPP side or the NDC side?
The NDC side.
The NDC side.
According to
By the way you're smiling, there's a name, right? Okay.
Joe was making the point that if the conversation had begun early, so the judge in question will not be part of the panel, would have helped. Behind closed doors, everyone knows who is being referenced in terms of who the judge is concerned. So I'm sure the Chief Justice has heard a name. So even if the official probe hasn't begun, I'm almost 100% certain the Chief Justice has obviously heard a name.
Okay.
And so
Joseph,
that, to a certain extent, should influence the decision.
Opoku Gakpo, so in what form did the bribery come? Was it a phone call? Was there a promise made? Help us appreciate that.
No, if you listen to Muntaka Mubarak, the reference was to a call that went through, and it was promises of things that will be done for the said MP in question.
Which region?
Including
where is this MP from? Which region? You're not telling us the constituency. Just tell us the region. Why do we have you?
When the probe begins,
Master, don't do that.
How far it goes.
Don't do. Is it Ashanti region? Okay, wait. Ashanti region. There are 3 seats for the NDC. There's no female, is there? So I can eliminate Ashanti region.
It's one of the 16 regions in Ghana, which probably begins.
Elimination by rough tactics. Okay.
The name of which probably begins with a V. Probably.
Begins with a what? A V.
With a V.
Oh, that can only be my region now.
Okay. Congratulations. You are making headway.
Oh, so I get a list of the Volta region MPs. There are not too many females there. It's very easy to narrow it down. I see.
There are a number of females there.
No,
so
but
make no mistake.
Not too many. Not too many.
It couldn't be Anglong, it couldn't be Keta, because there are no female MPs there. Oh, we can be eliminating. Oh.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can take out a lot of the constituencies and narrow it
Good
down.
luck.
Hopefully tomorrow we can share something.
Yeah.
But there's a risk
Good
in
luck.
doing that, isn't it? Okay.
Contempt of the Supreme Court.
Opokoga, just before we let you go, just before we wrap up on this segment, tell us what you're following today. So the meeting will happen again. This will be the third day, correct?
This will be day 3 of the meeting. So that will happen again today. The first day lasted for about 3 hours, second day for about 45 minutes. Maybe it will be less this time around. And then Haruna Idrisu, the leader of the NDC caucus, will be addressing the media as well on the issues.
Okay.
That's per an assurance that he gave us yesterday. So we look forward to hearing what he has to say.
Okay. Akable, what are you following this morning?
Going to the Supreme Court, day 1 of the election petition, there are a number of issues that the courts will deal with. Number 1 being the request to make corrections on Mr. Mahama's petition. The second being the request for live telecast. And the third is an initial objection by Mr. Akufo-Addo asking that the petition should be dismissed.
And the Electoral Commission.
And the Electoral Commission. So those are the 3 issues that the Supreme Court would have to come to some determination or fix a day to deal with those issues. And so those are the 3 matters.
What's the time?
9:30 a.m.
Okay, all right. So 2 hot issues happening in our country. We'll definitely keep an eye out. Trust Joseph Opoku-Gakpo to bring us what happens in terms of the leadership of Parliament. And then, of course, Joseph Akable from the courts. This is the source to trust. So please don't flip that dial. Stay with us. We've got sports coming up right here on the AM show. Opoku-Gakpo, thank you very much. Get some cocoa and get ready for Parliament.
I'll eat bankura than with tilapia before I step out.
Oh, okay. You're joining the Akpala camp. That's fine. Akable, I know.
No, I've had
Akable is going
I've had
to
jollof already, so I'm fine.
from the base.
No, I've had it already before I came in.
You brought it from home?
Yeah.
Not from the base?
I cooked some jollof a couple of days ago.
Really?
There's a little bit left, so I brought it over.
No, I won't believe you.
You have to trust me.
It must be Auntie Jane's
I'm
jollof.
telling your viewers to trust our reports. Why are you doubting my cooking?
Can you substitute report for cooking?
It's credibility.
Tomorrow is Friday, right?
Yes.
How about we do some cooking on the show?
No problem.
Yeah. What would you cook?
Anything.
All right, stay with us. We've got sports coming up.